Let's go ahead and get to the main event. Let's talk about having a plan for the bull market. And I want to check out our poll results. I am really, really intrigued by this. So what is your bull market profit taking strategy? So the first option, well, I'll just go with what's leading the way. Leading the way at 36% of the votes so far is once my portfolio hits a certain value. Boy, I don't like that answer. That's leading the way so far. Second is actually hodling long term, no plan. So people do not have these people, 26% do not have a plan to sell anything towards the top of this bull market. They are holding even longer, which is fine. I think like for part of your stack, that's admirable and fine. And again, it's up to you. Third place at 24%, we have when bullish sentiment is too high. So just kind of taking the temperature of the market and then scaling out. And then in last place, when token or the tokens hit a specific price, which I think I understand why that one would be last. Like you don't know specifically what it's going to get to.
Right.
And it's also kind of similar to the when my portfolio hits a certain value. So they're kind of in a way combined a little bit. But let's take an approach on this. So first off, just having a plan to begin with is a major thing that many people have not done. I know Ewok, you're a little familiar with that. You're not the only one, but just speak off first, because I know from your experience how unbelievably hard it is to sell in the midst of those euphoric feelings. Like it's one thing to buy blood in the bear market. I mean, we've if you guys have been here for the last couple of years, you're familiar with doing it. Like you earned your stripes, whatever. I honestly don't think it's that hard to do that. Like if sometimes it's a little nerve wracking. Like again, am I buying that falling knife and all that stuff? But I personally don't think that is all that difficult. I think it's a different thing when everyone is feeling like, wow, this market's going to just pump forever, to be able to sell. So first off, just talk about how difficult that feeling is, Ewok.
Well, first, let me preface by saying when Hex was designed, there were many people out there talking like it could go on forever. Like it was totally against the normal cycle, right?
Yeah.
Because of how it was designed, because of how it really got people to lock up. It really got people, and we were becoming so cult-like that people were joining and getting on board with it and using the system properly at that time. And I think it could have continued. However, it only takes one or two to really dump it for those other people to say, "Oh crap, I better sell now because I don't know how far this is going to go." And then you start that snowball effect, right? So I'll preface by saying that now we know that this is just like other stuff. It's going to have its cycles, and that's not going to happen. So I think that's one of the reasons why many people like myself may have been caught off guard. The second thing that kind of caught me off guard was like you said, the complete euphoria. When you look, every couple cents that it was going up was millions, or a million or whatever it was for many people that had gotten in early. If they had millions of Hex, and it would go up 2-3 cents, and you're adding another million to your total over and over and over. And how many times did that happen, right? So in itself, the euphoria there was just, you're like, well, how high can this go? How crazy can this really get? And you kind of lose track of what's happening pretty quickly. The next thing is being staked out and not having the liquid to be able to really do a whole lot with. Obviously, if you time your stuff right, you are lucky enough. But if you don't, then again, you can't touch it. So, there's a lot of things to talk about. There's a lot of things to plan for when you look at trying to take some profits. And one of the things, I always fall back to is that monthly ladder. If you have a monthly ladder and you want to either take the profit off or the yield of that one and sell that, you have the ability. If you want to sell the whole thing, you have the ability. If the prices aren't great, then you just plop it back out to another date. So I think that gives you a lot of options, right? And you can kind of get a cycle, a lot out of a cycle if you do that. Now, as we know, some of these crazy bull markets happen within a very short period of time. So, you know, who's to say that you're going to have enough liquid at that point if you're trying to do a ladder, to capitalize on it? So there's so many options. There's so many ways to look at it, to be prepared. There's a lot of people. There you go. Murder Yoga says I'm not selling anything until next cycle. So um, it, I think covering all bases is really your best bet, and you can kind of decide. You have a couple big stakes that you may do for 3 or 6 months, and then you have that monthly one, or you have a very large amount, or you just keep some liquid as on the side and don't take that risk. Yeah, I mean, man, there's so many ways and so many strategies